to Algiers or Tunis and sold there into the slavery of some wealthy Moor. Sakr el-Bahir's glance scanned them appraisingly and rested finally on the captain, who stood slightly in advance, his face livid with rage and grief. He was richly dressed in the Castilian black, and his velvet thimble-shaped hat was heavily plumed and decked by a gold cross. Sakr el-Bahir salaamed ceremoniously to him. "Fortuna de guerra, Señor Capitan," said he in fluent Spanish. "What is your name?" "I am Don Paulo de Guzman," the man answered, drawing himself erect, and speaking with conscious pride in himself and manifest contempt of his interlocutor. "So, a gentleman of family, and well-nourished and sturdy, I should judge. In the souk at Algiers, you might fetch 200 philips. You shall ransom yourself for 500. Por las entrañas de Dios," swore Don Paulo, who, like all pious Spanish Catholics, favored the oath anatomically. What else he would have added in his fury is not known, for Sakr el-Bahir waved him contemptuously away. "For your profanity and want of courtesy, we will make the ransom 1,000 philippes then," said he. And to his followers, "Away with him. Let him have courteous entertainment against the coming of his ransom." He was borne away cursing. Of the others, Sakr el-Bahir made short work. He offered the privilege of ransoming himself to any who might claim it, and the privilege was claimed by 3. The rest he consigned to the care of Risquin, who acted as his kaila, or lieutenant. But before doing so, he bade the ship's boatswain stand forward and demanded to know what slaves there might be on board. There were, he learnt, but a dozen employed upon menial duties on the ship: 3 Jews, 7 Muslimeen, and 2 heretics, and they had been driven under the hatches when the peril threatened. By Sakr el-Bahir's orders, these were dragged forth from the blackness into which they had been flung. The Muslimeen, upon discovering that they had fallen into the hands of their own people, and that their slavery was at an end, broke into cries of delight and fervent praise of Allah, than whom they swore there was no other God. The 3 Jews, lithe, stalwart young men in black tunics that fell to their knees and black skullcaps upon their curly black locks, smiled ingratiatingly, hoping for the best, since they were fallen into the hands of people who were nearer akin to them than Christians and allied to them, at least, by the bond of common enmity to Spain and common suffering at the hands of the Spaniards. The 2 heretics stood in stolid apathy, realizing that with them it was but a case of passing from Charybdis to Scylla, and that they had as little to hope for from heathen as from the Christians. One of these was a sturdy, bow-legged fellow, whose garments were little better than rags. His weather-beaten face was of the color of mahogany, and his eyes of a dark blue, under tufted eyebrows that had once been red, like his hair and beard, but were now thickly intermingled with gray. He was spotted like a leopard on the hands by enormous dark brown freckles. Of the entire dozen, he was the only one that drew the attention of Sakr el-Bahir. He stood despondently before the corsair, with bowed head and his eyes upon the deck, a weary, dejected, spiritless slave who would as soon die as live. Thus